What's up, people? Rex here with another video. Actually, it's a live stream. You're probably not watching it because it's 12:37 a.m. Late at night, you're probably sleeping. I am not. I'm kind of bored, so I thought I would do this right now. So what I have here today is these three iPhone 5, and these are from a customer. Every single one of them have some kind of problem. They are not perfect. This one, display is completely broken. Other than that, the body is in pretty good condition. You have some scratches, but that is fine. This one, the flex cables are all torn apart, broken. Motherboard has issue. The only thing probably works is the battery itself. And the third one, the phone is good. Everything works. The touch is good, the screen is good. The crack you probably see or may not see is on the temper glass. It has. The screen is good, is fine. Has broken, but it's the temper glass, not the screen itself. The body itself is kind of beat up, like parts of it is missing, like someone probably dropped it on pavement or some real hard surface. Like, this is a mess. The camera itself, the rear camera itself is out of position. The front camera, if I use a light, I can see it. A lot of dust in it and it's all hazy. The button is not even in the correct position. It rotated, so something happened there. So what I have to do is take parts from these phones and turn these three phones into a single good phones that works for the customer. So the first thing I would do is open this up. The only problem I see is the broken screen, and also I tried to charge it. It doesn't charge, and you may or may not be able to see it's kind of puffed up. The screen does not sit in place compared to this. This is a lot thicker and the screen is almost coming out. That's a solid indication of a bad battery. It means the battery is inflating. It's at the end of its life, so the battery will probably need to be replaced too. I'll start with opening up the screws on the bottom. Oh, the other thing, iPhone 5 and 5Cs, I would say, are probably the easiest, not only iPhones, probably the easiest phone to replace the LCD. Like, it's so simple. Just remove the two screws, get a pry tool, something like this. Be careful, it is metal, and if you are not careful you can damage electronics, the phones. Okay, be careful of what I did just now. See, this broken glass, they start flying all over the place. So there is a cheat you can use. It's not entirely a cheat, but okay, be right back in a few minutes. I'm gonna grab myself a tape and make this environment a little bit more safe. If you're wondering, this is not my shop, this is my home, and broken glass in the home is not a good thing. So what I got here right now is some packing tape, preferably clear one. What you want to do is remove all kind of loose glasses possible. Put tape on the glass, cut it off, and then again make sure to cover the whole surface. You don't want glasses anywhere near you, the broken glasses, and definitely not anywhere close to your eyes. That will turn into a real screwed up day. You wanna trim the edges so it's a lot easier to work with. I know it takes a little bit more time than what it should take normally, but it's always better to be safe than sorry. Okay, this goes into the garbage. Well, to be more precise, in the recycle bin. And you simply go around with a pry tool and pry it off. It should come off pretty easily. Make sure start from the bottom because you have all the connectors and flex cables on the top. You don't want to ruin them. What we do is, this one, the glass on top is broken, but the LCD itself is just fine, so I want to preserve that. We can refurbish the screen if the LCD itself is not broken. So that's why we like to preserve as much as we can. If the LCD is broken, it's pretty much useless for me because it can't be refurbished. It's just a waste. Okay, so I don't know, the battery looks good in this. It looks okay. LCD has to come off. Okay. Well, I tried to charge it and it didn't work, so I'll first change the battery itself and see what's the situation in here. So open up the two screws. I always put a neodymium magnet on the screwdrivers itself. Most of them come magnetized, but they are not good. These magnets are extremely strong and they helps a lot. Okay, so then remove the connector and yep, that's the way for it. There is a trick to remove the iPhone battery. A lot of people do is gets their pry tool, gets in between them and pry it off. What that does is basically it bends and twists the battery, and sometimes like you can puncture the battery too, and that is very dangerous. That should not be done. Make sure you support this, or make sure I support this. You may or may not be doing it, to be honest. Just be careful. Slowly try to get under the battery. Make sure you do one side at a time. Okay, I think this phone there's a trick. You can basically pull the tab, like this tab right here. You can pull it and the battery should come off, but that's one way to use it. But if you do it, then you can pull the tab most of the time only once. If you put too much pressure, this part breaks, so I don't normally use it. Put the glue back in place. This battery is probably dead, so we go with the other battery in here. See if this piece of shit works. And it doesn't work at all. Well, that is a huge letdown. What can I do? Well, doesn't matter. Even if this is not working properly, the LCD is good, so this can go in for, this can be refurbished. I don't know why Apple do this. There is this one screw in the corner that is not a magnetic. I think that is aluminum. That is screw and is diamagnetic, which means it cannot be magnetized. So with a normal magnetic screwdriver you can just pull it out there. You have to do it with your hand. You just remove this flex cables carefully. You can just use your fingernails, it's fine. It's probably better. This will be refurbished. This now, what one thing I can do is take the whole body and put this body on this, but the body has a lot of flex cables and parts glued, and to be honest, it's a lot of time and I don't really want to do it, so I will keep it for a future project or something. The customer. In this LCD, I definitely have to clean the front camera out and fix the home button. So I'll get started with this and see what I can do. Okay, this should come off easily. Since the LCD itself is not broken, it's only the tempered glass on top of it that's cracked. So first thing I'll do is remove the battery. Not remove the battery, but unplug it. Okay. You want to unplug the batteries because every time you connect and disconnect a connector, it creates this slight jolt of electricity. It's not much, you probably can't even feel it. It's like a bit of static electricity, and it's just enough to kill some components. So it is very important to remove the battery. In the past, I have had a lot of LCDs die on me just because I was not unplugging the battery first. But well, I learned my lesson, now I do. Somebody has already worked on this phone before, I can see, because a screw is missing right here and another one, so it's being held by only one screw. And I know the phone has been repaired in the past by someone. I'll just shake it just to make sure there isn't any loose screws left inside. Then remove the flex cables. Yep, that's good. Okay, you know what I should try to do? No, not at the moment. Let's fix the home button first. This is a used Chinese LCD. I can see there is the Chinese sticker. It's not an original one. Nobody should really put an original one. It's so expensive. And I haven't noticed any significant difference between the original one and the fake one, so I don't care. Maybe you do, but I don't. Okay, so the glue on this thing is kind of gone. That's why it was turning and twisting inside. What I'm gonna do, take the home button out of this and put it back in here. This one is an original LCD. The broken one, this is original, so, and it has never been opened before. very careful when you're removing it. These are delicate stuff. I do it by hand now because I'm used to it, but if it's your first time, just use it slowly. Maybe apply some heat. Gonna remove those little bits of dust from around there. And this is dirty, like really dirty. The user probably has never cleaned it, or a lot of people, are comes to this repair shop is because they work in construction and they get a lot of dirt, paint, cement, grout, like whatever you can think of into the phone, and it clogs up. I'm using a brush to clean this out. Okay, that should go right here, but before I do, I'll get some double-sided tape in there. Okay, you know what, I have to remove the camera and clean it anyway, so I'll do that first. Well, what I'm doing here right now, it's probably not the best way to do it, but I'm used to it and it's the easiest and fastest way. If you're doing it, do it at your own risk. That's all I can say. There will always be a learning curve, and you have to take the risk. Should you do it? Absolutely, it's fun. You learn something new. Yeah, that's all I can say about this. Put some glue in there. Okay. And okay. Just so the surrounding is tacky and this stays. Can put some. This is actually like a double-sided adhesive from the dollar store. And this works like magic. Okay, that should next thing you do is put the button itself back on. And the thread is also stripped, so I will use one of the bigger screws from the other phone. So it stays in there. And this is not, I think the LCD itself, this is an aftermarket LCD, and the LCD itself probably has the problem, it does not fit properly the button itself, so it is still turning and twisting. So what I'll do is grab a little bit of tape, very like a little bit, and put it in there. Well, you see, if you want, you can just replace the whole thing. It does not really matter, but the customer specifically requested that we use whatever parts he gave us, which includes those 3 phones, so the cost stays low. So what I do is improvise. And hey, tape is probably one of the greatest inventions that there ever was. Imagine your life without tape, right? I can't. You need tape everywhere. Tape and glue. If you think about it, the glue technology has come such a long way that you pretty much put glue on everything around you. Even cars and aircrafts, planes, boats, everything. Believe it or not, most modern cars have almost, at least the body, not the main chassis, the aluminum or carbon fiber. Carbon fiber bodies are always glued together. Most aluminum bodies these days are also glued because it's so much more economical, saves time, and better in most cases. just to glue them together, then weld them. And glues are good, and yeah, button feels good, it clicks properly, it doesn't turn or twist. The next thing I'm going to do is clean out the front camera. To do that, I'll tear a piece of tissue paper, toilet paper, facial tissue, if you have some, and just wipe it. Most of the time it's dust, just wiping it will clean it out. I'm just going to wipe it. And it should be good. Also, there is supposed to be a clear plastic around the camera, which is also missing. That holds the camera into the correct position, but whoever repaired this before didn't do it correctly, so that plastic piece is also missing. And again, I have to improvise even more. Next thing I'll do is put the metal backing on, put back the 4 screws on the 4 sides, make sure they're properly tightened, don't over tighten them, don't strip the threads, just finger tight, it's good. Next thing I'm gonna do, take your time, there is no rush, well, at least in my case, no rush. Nobody's waiting for it to get it done right now, right away. Next hardest part is positioning the camera in here. This is the speaker setup. You don't tighten, you start with this screw on the top, you don't tighten it all the way down. You kind of get it tight enough so the camera doesn't move around a lot. Then you flip it over, look right here, and use your screwdriver or whatever you have available in your hand to position the camera as centered as possible. Okay. A little bit be careful, try not to damage any of the internals. Okay, now that is in center. You tighten it all the way down, and that should stay. Then you put the other screw back on. Make sure nothing is loose. Loose screw is one of the main reasons we have fried motherboards on phones. Okay, the button is fixed. The camera should be good. It looks clean as new. Next thing I want to do is I don't know, I don't really want to change the housing. So what I'm going to do is take this battery out, and again, maybe the other battery that I tested was also dead, so I'll try another battery and see if it's working. This came off pretty easy, so I'm thinking the battery was also replaced, and there is almost no glue on the battery. I'll grab the LCD, connect the flex cables and the camera. Let's see if this works. Is it the power button? Let's see. Okay, so the power button definitely does not work. So I don't think I will be using this body. Let me think, should I go with this? I don't really want to, it's a lot of work. You know what? Oh, and yeah, power button does not work. Short these two pins out, that will be a home button. Slide it to set up. Voila. Okay. Not good. So I'll leave this for now. At least there's one thing that we know is this battery is working. Alright. the next thing I have to do is clean out this part, because this also has some dirt in it. Tear off some tissue paper. Slowly move the camera off the side. There is this tiny little flex cable that gets in the way almost all the time. Just be careful and it should be good. Put the tissue paper in there, give it a nice twist. That should clean it out. I'm not saying it would, but it should clean it out. The lens also has dirt on it. Normally if the camera lens itself is clear, you should never touch it. But if you have dirt, definitely give it a clean. Don't push it in, because the lens also moves forward and backward in order to focus. And also you don't want to apply too much pressure, that will scratch the lens. Okay, give that a cleaning. Put the camera back into position. And that already looks a lot better. The body itself still sucks, but the inside is good. Okay. Next thing I want to do, I just want to plug the connectors. Back on. Get the plate. And actually there is a way to do it. What you heard just now, that was my phone. Someone's messaging me on Facebook. I don't have time for that at the moment. Okay. There is a clip. Get that side in there first, then push it in. It kind of works like a hinge mechanism. Get those screws screw them in. These are probably the shittiest screws in the world. They cannot be magnetized and they're really hard to work with. I don't know why Apple do this on purpose or not, or they have some kind of patented technology to work with these screws, or maybe that's their way of preventing from other people working on their products. Like these, even up to iPhone 6, I believe, it can be repaired. Most iPhone 7, we don't even dare touching them. It's just next to impossible to work on it, or at least for the price people pay for it. It's just not worth it. The 5S, the 6S, iPhone SE 7, all of them. If the fingerprint reader is damaged or the flex cable is damaged, you have to replace the whole thing, and the fingerprint will never work again. Even if you put a brand new fingerprint, original one from a different iPhone, it won't work, because the processor, the A processor in there, is directly connected to there is a chip on the fingerprint sensor itself, and it only works with the exact same processor that is supposed to work with. Anything else, it wouldn't work. Well, at least one thing I can do is replace the SIM card slot. Is scratched. I'll put the better one in there. That one is not scratched. I'm not going to change the housing. It's just not worth it. It takes too much time and not worth for what I'm getting paid for. Okay, the touch seems to be working fine. Let's see how the camera is. Okay, forgot. This is a prior version of iOS. Okay, if you notice it, this one does have a body flex to it. Body itself is probably not straight, actually definitely not straight. Customer probably sat on it, and I don't know. Okay, the rear camera looks good. The front camera also looks good. If you do video and see the flash works. Okay, power buttons do work. Silent button is also working. Let's see if the loudspeaker works. Okay, I can hear the click, which means that's working. The next thing, I will check if the ear speaker is working. To do that, I'll go to voice memos and voice memos, just record anything, like right now whatever I'm speaking in. Play it. So that's the loudspeaker. Then let's hear it. Okay, the ear speaker is also working. Click on done. I will delete it. Okay, it seems to be good. Next I'll check if the Wi-Fi is good. Some of them have a dead Wi-Fi chip. The Wi-Fi is good. Bluetooth. Yeah, it turns on. Means it's good. Okay. So I did not really even have to use the other two phones. It seems to be working just fine. I'll put the screws back in. It should be good. One thing I haven't checked is the USB and the headphone jack or headphone port. They should be working. One thing we always do is anytime we get a phone, we clean this out. When you put your phone in your pocket, you get lint, those like tiny pieces of cotton that comes off your cloth, and they go in there, and over time they build up, and yeah, they can cause problems, all kind of problems. I get a lot of customers come to us that and say like their phone is not charging anymore, and 80% of the time just cleaning out the charging port does the trick. Let's see if anything is in here. Like the lightning ports are pretty rigid, and it's pretty much undamageable, so don't worry about it. Just do it carefully and you should be good. Nothing seems to be in here, so this is clean. Let's see if I can find an example. This one is also clean, and this is also clean. So fortunately they are all clean. Okay, next thing I would do is remove the broken tempered glass. To do that, put tape on it so it doesn't shatter and go all over the place. If you are new to replacing tempered glass or a screen protector on your phone, you can watch my video. It's very easy. You don't have to rely on anyone else. You can just do it yourself. Check out my video on that, and you should be good to go in no time. Alright, start with the broken corner. Use this pry tool just to get it started, and it will come out into pieces. I'll shut up so you can hear what's going on. Okay. So that's the broken tempered glass. As you can see, it's completely gone. The screen itself looks as good as new. All this needs is a little bit of cleaning, and I'll do that. With sanitizer. And not even a cleaning cloth. Tear up a piece of tissue paper, get a little bit of sanitizer. I don't know why we do. People buy all those glass cleaners and stuff for their phone. All you need is a tissue paper and some sanitizer. There is a good part of it. One, it's gonna clean all the germs on your phone too, and two, it's basically alcohol, and it's almost readily available to people. It cleans good, it removes oils and dirt, kills germs, gets the job done. Why not use it? Why am I using pieces of tissue paper? Because it's late at night, everyone else is sleeping. I don't want to go out, open the cabinet, which makes a squeaky noise. It will wake everyone up. So I will use that one piece of tissue paper that I have at the moment. Okay, and yeah, it looks good. If you can see, the LCD itself looks as good as new. Phone is good. Camera, all the dust is gone, is clear. Other than that, there is nothing else to do really. These two phones, one of them, this one, the motherboard itself is useless because this one has an iCloud lock, and that guy, as he claims, he forgot his password. Well, I am not here to judge, but this is iCloud locked, and that's a whole different issue that I don't want to get into. So that's it. I hope you learned something different, something new. Hope this helped you out. And as always, thanks for watching.